There are a lot of dangerous things in the Harry Potter series. There's the Cruciatus Curse, a three-headed dog in the third floor corridor. There's spiders that want to eat you. You have the Killing Curse, venomous tentacular leaves. Heck, Voldemort himself is just hanging out in Hogwarts most of the school years. But none of those are as scary to me as something we encounter in the Half-Blood Prince. In Harry's 6th year, in potions class, Professor Slughorn introduces the students to a number of different potions. And one of them is called Amortentia, better known as a love potion. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not scared of this because I'm scared of love. I'm scared of this because this completely takes away your free will. This is what Slughorn tells the class. Amortentia doesn't really create love, of course. It is impossible to manufacture or imitate love. No, this will simply cause a powerful infatuation or obsession. It is probably the most dangerous and powerful potion in this room. Oh yes, he said, nodding gravely at Malfoy and Nott, both of whom were smirking skeptically. When you have seen as much of life as I have, you will not underestimate the power of obsessive love. Whew. In this series, love potion is seen as kind of a joke. Look at Malfoy and Nott. Both students are laughing at Slughorn when he says that this is the most dangerous potion in a room filled with dangerous potions. In this room, you have Liquid Luck, Draft of Living Death, you have the Polyjuice potion, and just a number of other really dangerous things. It's seen as something that's harmless. When Ron eats some chocolates laced with love potion, it becomes a comedic moment in the books and the movies, and only becomes serious when he drinks mead that's poisoned. That's when the books as well as the movies snap into motion and it becomes serious. It's also seen as a joke when Ginny and Hermione are giggling with Mrs. Weasley about a love potion she made as a girl and Prisoner of Azkaban. Likely she never brewed Amortentia, and I want to be clear that this isn't really that dark of a thing as it's Mrs. Weasley and she's one of the purest characters in all of Harry Potter. But the real thing of Amortentia is the last thing in the entire Harry Potter realm that I would want to face. I'd rather face a basilisk, a boggart, a dementor. I'd rather be hit with a stunning spell or have my legs locked or even get flipped upside down and have my trousers show. I'd honestly rather be Crucioed or have the Killing Curse cast on me, because in my experience and in my fear of the things in the wizarding world, nothing beats my fear of drinking a love potion unknowingly. Part of this reason comes from what Tom Riddle Sr. had to endure. Look at Voldemort's father. He had a good life. Yeah, he might have been full of himself, but this man had a beautiful girlfriend he was rolling around with when his horse just needed some water, and who decided to spike his water with a love potion other than Merope Riddle? After this happens, he spends a few months in absolute terror, not knowing what he's doing, where he's living, and apparently now he has a child that's named after him. On top of that, Tom and his parents are murdered because the child of his date-rape date is now a psychopath and hates him so much that he murders him and the rest of the family. That pretty much sums up my fear of Amortentia. But it also drives me crazy because some of the people blame Tom Riddle Sr. for the way his son became. They say if he just stayed with Merope after the child, then he would have raised a normal son. And that is a significantly disturbing thought. And it makes me sad for this man, who asked for none of this, but was raped and is now blamed with the repercussions of what happened to him. It breaks my heart for people who have experienced something similar, obviously not with Amortentia, but who are date raped and have a child and then are blamed for so much that happens in their life. And through this Amortentia, Rowling herself gave us her indication through Slughorn that she also knows about the power of obsessive love and how dangerous it can be. She's known to have been with an abusive man in her first marriage. Luckily, she got out of that marriage, but the entrapment that people feel in these relationships are truly disturbing. And it's interesting to me that someone who has been through this decided to make such a flippant thing in the world that she created. But I think that she did this because she knows how flippantly that people treat this. And that there will be people out there who have had this happen to them and will know how dark this is and how people everywhere just laugh or play it off as a joke. And how isolating and scary that can be. It also makes me sad for Slughorn, who has experienced this in his life as well. I can imagine for someone as charming as Horace Slughorn that he had a stalker, or someone can come into his life that was obsessed with him. I truly hope that this individual didn't slip him a love potion. But Slughorn seems to have known the severity of this to some degree. And while I think that's tragic, I want to know what happened in his life, because this is truly a sad thing that he had to go through. It's a potion that totally takes away your autonomy and ability for making decisions. I truly do think this equates to the date rape drug. But the darkness surrounding Amortentia is almost worse than the date rape drug, because the wizarding world seems to look at Amortentia with some kind of amusement, even some kind of charm to it. Fred and George are even selling it to young witches and wizards in their joke shop, and my question is not just for them, but for the Ministry of Magic. How on earth is this not regulated? Perhaps between two consenting adults it could be allowed? I've talked about this before, but Mr. and Mrs. Weasley could take this before a date night and just have a really wild night if they wanted to. But that is because the love already exists and they just want to have fun together. Sure, no problem there, to be honest. But the damage that you can cause to a person from taking Amortentia is severe. This is something that takes away people's free will. It's like the Imperious Curse, in my opinion. It should be on a list of unforgivable potions. Perhaps weaker love potions might be harmless and might only last for a few minutes, or create just bravado or something like that in the people who take it. But throw this on the list of things that will get a witch or wizard a one-way ticket to Azkaban. Please, because it's so disturbing. And it's not really that easy to explain why, but the simplicity of what Slughorn says rings true for thousands of quiet people in the world who have been the object of obsessive love. That when you have seen as much life as Slughorn has, you will not underestimate the power of obsessive love. And that it is probably one of the most dangerous and most powerful potions in the wizarding world. Now, I could talk about this for a long time, but let me know if you agree. Do you think love potions are as dark a thing in the wizarding world as I do? Because I think they are the most dark things. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.